Good evening, everyone. I'm Nikita Kohli, a geopolitical intelligence analyst at MidCat Advisory Services, and I want to talk to you once again about the COVID 19 numbers in India. While the general understanding that we have right now, that the numbers are generally increasing in India, is absolutely correct, there are multiple nuances to it. It is these details that allow us to not only understand the current situation, but also to understand how and where to resume the business operations in India. To be able to better understand all of these different divisions, I will be dividing the numbers into two sections. One would be the major nationwide analysis, a second, a micro level statewide analysis. Each of these will have three major divisions in them. One, which will look at the confirmed cases of COVID 19 in India. Second, it's only going to be on the death numbers and the case fatality rate. And finally, looking at the other major trends which are happening in both the nationwide analysis and the statewide analysis. These are the numbers which I will be basing myself on, and all the numbers are being regularly updated on the COVID 19 dashboard of Midcard created exclusively for its clients. So if you want the latest numbers and as well as the developments, please contact us to know how we can help you on that. So starting off with a nationwide analysis, we see that the number of cases, deaths, and almost everything else is increasing. So the general understanding is quite correct. We have almost 500,000 confirmed cases in India, and with this, we continue to maintain our position as the country with the fourth largest number of infections in the world. What is interesting to note is that less than 40% of these are active cases. The doubling rate in India has also been continuously decreasing and is presently 19 and a half days when compared to 14 and a half days that we saw on the 1st of June. The percentage increase in week on week cases also is declining, as can be seen from the screen. But while these are positive trends which need to be noted and celebrated, there is a very worrisome trend where we are seeing a continuous increase in the per day new cases. If you look at the figure 2 is flash on your screen, you will see that India is seeing more than 15,000 new cases per day for the past week alone. 25th June, in fact, saw one of the largest single day increases with 17,000 plus new cases in one day. This is a worrisome trend, and while the other trends show a declining curve, I don't think we are out of the woods yet. Looking next to the deaths which have been caused due to COVID 19, we see that just over 15,000 deaths have been, fatalities have been there. This means that we have a case fatality rate of only just 3.17%. It is a commendable rate given the rate of infection as well as when we compare to other infection rates of similar countries. When we look at the absolute numbers, we see that the past week has alone seen roughly 300 additional deaths per day. Despite this, the percentage increase in the week on week death growth rate has declined to about 18% from the roughly 50% the previous week, a positive trend indeed. Looking finally to the major nationwide trends that we have, this is where it gets quite interesting because we see that we have again crossed the biggest per week increase in cases, with nearly 100,000 additional cases being recorded this week alone, but the number of recoveries is parallelly increasing to roughly 300,000. As of 26 June, we have a 59.21% recovery rate, which means that India has more people who have recovered than those who have the infection at the rate. When we look at the testing rates again, we see that this is again a positive development where we have more than 7.5 million samples which have been tested as per ICMR. When we look at the testing done in the past 24 hours before that, we see that that's more than 200,000 samples, which is a major increase over the previous developments. This has led to an increase in the test positivity rate to 6.2%. But as we go ahead, this is going to be a major reason. That is, the increase in testing capacity is going to be a major reason when we see the increase in the COVID-19 cases in India. Other two reasons will be the increased mobility of people, especially in the metro cities when we are resuming work, as well as the high population density. This becomes an interesting point when we look at the areas of high population density. This is what leads us to understanding the state-wise analysis, because India does not have a uniform population density. So when we look at these things, we see that it has the five states of Maharashtra, Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, and Uttar Pradesh, which contribute to over 70% of all COVID-19 cases in India. These states understandably also have a very high population density, especially in the metro cities, and perhaps that is the reason why we're seeing an increase in cases. The major metro cities, the eight of them that we're seeing, which is Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Pune, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Gurgaon, and Bangalore, today contribute to roughly 50% of all COVID-19 cases in India. And while these trends have mostly been static over the past few weeks, an interesting development has taken place where the number of cases in Delhi has overtaken those in Mumbai for the first time this week. There are two main reasons for this. First is the increased mobility due to resumption of work, especially the cross border movement between Delhi, Gurgaon, and Noida. And the second has been the massive increase in testing capacity in the capital. We now have the Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, mentioning that they plan to now test almost every single household in the state. This is expected to lead to an increase in COVID-19 cases in the capital. This is actually not a bad development, though it may seem like that. The main reason for this is that if we are actually having as much testing, we can get to the actual number of cases and we can get to treating these people. We must remember when we look at the numbers of Delhi that 36% of the total number of cases is active, over 60% are recovered, and only 3% are the case fatality rates. A similar trend can be expected in Mumbai, though, because, well, to be honest, Maharashtra is reducing a lot of its testing. Delhi is increasing and going for full testing rate, and Maharashtra is going for a different strategy. It's going in for a strategy based on contact tracing, and it's not going to have any random testing anymore. Because of contact tracing, while we will see a slight increase in numbers in the coming weeks, we will not see a drastic rise the way that Delhi has seen in the past couple of weeks, and it's going to see a different kind of increase. However, it's not just the metro cities which will see an increase, but also the other areas of high population density. When we talk about these centers, it's not going to be an interesting, it's not going to be an easy thing to get to, because the interesting thing here is that these will also be the rural areas. This is perhaps one of the first times we can say that the rural areas of India are high population density areas where you will see an increase in cases. This is mostly because of the returning migrant labor force. Uttar Pradesh and Bihar are expected to see an increase, a massive increase in the cases in the coming weeks. They're having a large number of migrant forces, which are labor force, which is returning. A lot of them contacting COVID-19 infection along the way, and not all of them have easy access to testing in the rural areas. Because of the flouting of social norms, which does happen, we can perhaps, while we may not see increasing numbers, the number of cases will increase as people start moving in and out, even within the state. Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Telangana, and a couple of other places which are seeing an increase in the return of the migrant force, labor force, will have to now look at a different strategy where even the rural areas are now having more access to tracing, contact tracing mechanisms, testing results, as well as proper treatment and care. This leads me to my final analysis that while we will see a lot of cases everywhere, we will also see a lot of recoveries. But there are two main sectors which need to have increase in precautions over the next couple of weeks at least. This would be banking and the manufacturing sector. The reasons I've shortlisted these two sectors is primarily for one reason: the number of people involved. Banks have to operate everywhere, even if they're for a limited number of hours, and these are in both urban and rural areas. The more people they will service, the more people they will come in contact with, and especially in the rural areas where people are returning and they do not have the test results with them, we will see an increase in cases in these banking areas. A similar thing can be expected in manufacturing. And while we may be able to control through temperature checks and other sanitation measures which are being implemented in most factory situations, it will be a bit difficult when you're talking about contact delivery people as well as the people who they're going and meeting. For example, you're delivering in the manufacturing sector, if you're delivering something from, say, the main station into another station, a delivery point, and going to dhabas and everything that the people will come in contact with. This will lead to an increase in these two sectors, and which are the main areas where we need to really focus and understand how the precautions and the different adjustments need to be made. But as we come to an end to this week's analysis, I urge you, please continue to take adequate precaution and maintain social distancing at all times. If you're reopening your workspaces, please contact us to know how MidCat services can be of assistance to you. And until the next week's analysis, take care and goodbye.